30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a beautiful Wednesday, a hot Wednesday in downtown Nashville. As you can tell, we are at Bridgestone Arena out in the concourse, where tonight the NHL Draft will begin at 7 p.m. local time. He is Mark McGee. He has, of course, been a big contributor to our hockey knowledge over the last couple of years. Guy, let's hold on a second.
Oh,
let's get
okay. I never can get these right.
So. Oh, it's not that hard. How you doing?
I've been in studio with you before. It's always been on the phone or on the computer. So
that's not totally true. You've been in studios.
Yeah, on your radio show, but never on this.
Well, I mean, look, it's the same.
It's different.
It's the same stuff.
Yeah, it's different, I guess, in some ways. But
let's see what Kelly Holcomb thinks.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Let's bring him in from Murfreesboro. Kelly, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just know this, Mark. You will not have to drink a gallon of milk on the broadcast today.
Good. I'm good. What was that all about? Did you have to do that, or?
No. Do you not remember the duck? Were you not there that day when your boy Gary Deering and all them guys were drinking a gallon of milk?
That was before my time there.
Well, that was before your time. Wow. Yeah. Well, I've been on their broadcast where they were drinking milk and trying to swallow a piece of bread without having to take a drink. So none of that today.
Thank goodness. I'm glad I was there after all that went through. So.
Thank you for sharing that story.
Kelly.
Man,
that's a great story.
Well, George, you didn't give you didn't give much of a meteorologist forecast today. You just said it's hot. Well, we all get that.
I don't really know. I mean, look, for all I know, a tornado could be coming in, but when you're indoors, you really don't know. So I'm going with the percentages. It's hot.
I'm just used to the Al Archer forecast with our local forecast with you.
Well, whatever. Watch closely what's about to happen, Kelly, because we spare no expense on this show, as you well know. Butch Samide is somewhere else in Bridgestone Arena. We'll get reports from him throughout the day. Let's check in with him at a site to be determined. Butch, how are you?
George, I'm fantastic. I'm actually right outside the Nashville Predators sports shop underneath the escalators as you walk in the main entrance. And I'm joined by some pretty legendary merchandise, if I do say so myself.
Okay, so these were all the trophies that essentially were given away Monday night?
Yeah, so you'll have all the awards here. I believe also the Stanley Cup is somewhere in the building in Bridgestone. But as you look to my right, you have the Hart Memorial Trophy, which Connor McDavid just won for a third time. Directly behind me, you have the Conn Smythe, the playoff MVP award, which was won by Jonathan Marchessault. And then for a little foreshadowing, you have the Mark Messier Leadership Award, which went to Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And George, that's not the last time you'll be hearing about the Lightning in this report.
Is that so? Tell.
Yeah, it's just a little foreshadowing, because yesterday the Nashville Predators released their official schedule for next season, and they will actually open the year one of 3 opening day games. They will play in Tampa, I believe September the 10th, before 2 days later they will face the Kraken in their home opener, September 12th.
Actually, it's October.
No, I believe it's September.
He may not. No, it's October. But now I'll say this: if you'd like to lose some money, I'll be glad to bet you.
Okay, George. Sorry, I'm still learning. You get intimidated when you're with such legendary merchandise and memorabilia. I gotta readjust here.
Do you realize how few people are allowed to be around those trophies?
George, I'm surprised the SWAT
that's
team
big
isn't
time.
already on their way. I'm surprised that I'm not getting
Well, I think
handcuffed
they're
as
just
I
a little.
speak.
Yeah, I think they're just they may have other important duties. So let's talk about tonight. What does it look like as far as number of people and all that kind of stuff?
Well, George, some Predators executives believe that there could be well over 10,000 people in attendance tonight, which would rival the draft in 2003, where there was over 13,000. And my source there, you might know him well, hosted an 8-hour radio show on that 2003 draft by the name of, I believe it was Jorge Plaster, if I get that one right.
So the deal was that back then, the Predators sort of teamed up with Butch Spearden in the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And Ellie Westman was the person assigned to the draft. And so it was her job to drum up a lot of pubs. So she invited me to dinner, and then the wish list from hell that included an 8-hour remote the day that year in 2003. The first day was on Saturday during the day.
This is the first time it's been on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, they've branched out a little bit.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday was the first time. Usually it's a Friday or Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So, Butch, anything else on your end?
No, George, I'm ready. The draft starts tonight at 7 p.m., and it'll just be the first round. Tomorrow it'll be the rest of the rounds, and that'll start at 11 a.m. still in Bridgetown.
Beautiful. Butch Samide reporting from a trophy near you in Bridgestone Arena. Kelly, again, we spare no expense.
I see. I do see. And you brought the guru on today with your boy Mark McGee. He's ready. He's rip roaring. He's got his notes. He's ready to roll.
Yes. So we're going to get an update here in just a minute. David Wilson has done yeoman's work to put all of this together. And David, what all is out there today besides the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with the draft. Obviously, Chicago with the first overall pick tonight, they'll have the right to draft Connor Bedard, generational talent, probably going to be the first player taken off the board tonight. Anaheim with the second overall pick. It's all signs towards Adam Fantilli of Michigan, the center. And then Columbus with the third pick. Leo Carlson is projected to go there by Kevin Weeks. He is also a center. So 3 centers off the board for Kevin Weeks in the first 3 picks. Nashville picking at 15 tonight. He's got them taking Andrew Cristall, a left winger. And then Nashville taking at 24 as well. Riley Height, a center. The Predators own 13 picks in this year's NHL draft, including 2 picks tonight in the first round and 2 second-rounders tomorrow, George.
Yeah, and interesting, we ran into Barry Trotz, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And he told us the likelihood of him being able to move up has gotten much smaller.
It was going to be a tough move anyway because you got 5 really top players in this situation, and you got one guy that's kind of a wild card, Michkov from Russia. Nobody's seen him play much because of the Russian situation. Plus, he's in the KIL, and he can't not play in the United States until the 2026-27 season. So he's kind of a gamble, but he's probably one of the best talents of the top 5. He's right there. A lot of people thought he would be a top 3 draft pick had it not been for all the problems that deal with him from a contract standpoint, and the fact that a lot of people didn't see him play live. But he could be the real wild card. He could come up in the top 3, 4, or 5 and really change that dynamic a little bit. So it would be interesting to see what happens there. I know the Columbus Blue Jackets talked to him yesterday and several other teams. He's here in Nashville doing interviews. He has to have a translator for interviews. So he's been doing that this last couple of days. So he could be the real surprise as far as those top 5 picks go. Connor Bedard's obviously going to be the first pick. So.
We have openly speculated about the possibility of getting rid of Matt Duchene. Off what you think you know, you think it's going to happen?
Well, they can do one more deal like they did with Ron Johansson. You can only do 3 of those. I think they do one with Ekholm as well. You can only do 3 of those. They could do another one where they say, okay, we'll take we'll pay half his contract if you take him, and this is what we'd like to have. So that possibility is there. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens from that standpoint. From what we've been told by different people, it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
So,
okay, next I know is football and a very sad story.
Yeah, sad news, George. Ryan Mallett, former Arkansas quarterback and NFL quarterback, died in a drowning yesterday in the Florida Beach. He was 35 years old. His best season in college came in 2010. Threw for 3,869 yards, 32 touchdowns, and was second team all SEC, finished in the 7th in the Heisman Trophy voting that year. Arkansas released a statement yesterday saying, "We are shocked and saddened by the passing of Ryan Mallett. He was a Razorback legend with larger-than-life talent and a personality to match. He led our program to some of the best moments in recent memory. He will be missed by everyone who knew him. Our thoughts and prayers with his mother, Debbie, and his extended family." So some sad news in the college football and NFL circles, George.
Kelly, what I remember of him, Ryan Mallett was like 6'7" and just had a cannon for an arm. This is terrible news.
Yeah, it really is. It's you're hearing about all these things, and we talked about it the other day about what Coach Cutcliffe talked about guys passing away. But this was kind of a freak deal where he was I guess he was in Destin, and you don't hear about that much in Destin, and that makes you wonder if he got caught up in a riptide, because I think there were some other people that had something tragic happen like that this past week. So, it's just sad news. I remember him. He was a big old boy. He could play. He could throw that ball. He got drafted by the New England Patriots and then went to the Houston Texans. So it's it's a really sad story. Just nothing like that you think is ever going to happen, and just something weird like that happens where you go out and you're probably vacationing with your family and something just tragic happens. You just can't fathom that.
Stay out of the water. That's always my philosophy.
What else we got, David?
We got some NFL news as well to add to that. The NFL has come out and said that the suspensions for the gambling probe that's been going on will come out this week. Any cornerback and kick returner Isaiah Rodgers expected to receive a season-long suspension for violating the NFL's gambling policy. Obviously, we had the former Lions player Quintez Cephas, C.J. Moore, and Jamison Williams. All of them have been suspended as well. So the NFL is once again cracking down on that gambling policy that we've talked so much about recently in the last few weeks.
Yeah, they're getting serious about it, Kelly.
I just don't understand it. It's been going on forever. I talked about it the other day. It's been happening forever, George. Now they're trying to crack down on it when you got all these sports books, and you got DraftKings, and you got all this stuff that's coming into the league, and they're getting money from them. But now you're penalizing the guy. I just don't. I'm not quite sure how that's happening. Jamison Williams is a key. He's going to be an integral part to the Detroit Lions. And man, he's got suspended, and then you see the Rodgers kid gets suspended for a year. It's just I understand what they're trying to do, but man, it's widespread, George. I'll just say that it was widespread when I played. It's still widespread now, and I don't know how they're trying, but I just don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
it seems like hypocritical with all the other draft professional gambling things set up. I mean, it seems like it was a little bit with DraftKings and others. It seems a little hypocritical. They would crack down now.
Well, the NFL, if they're this strong about it, and I understand why they are, then don't take the money from these organizations.
Exactly.
Don't give us this crap about the official, betting side of the NFL. I mean, that's bull. It's just wrong.
Here's the deal, George. Like, we understand that you can't bet on NFL games. That's a given. We understand that. But like all the other stuff, and I understand not gambling in a locker room, but I've seen it. We talked about it the other day. I've seen it in planes. I've seen it in hotels. I've seen it everywhere. So it's I just don't know how you crack down on it. I don't understand why they're doing it now when you got so much coming out about gambling and you're taking money from all these gambling organizations.
George, we're going to move right along. We got some sad news up in Cleveland as well. Guardians manager Terry Francona had to be hospitalized before last night's game against the Royals. He's undergoing tests at a local hospital. Just out of an abundance of caution, he's been held overnight for observation. DeMarlo Hale had to take over the managerial duties about 15 minutes before first pitch last night. He's had some recent health issues through 2021, multiple surgeries to his hip and toe, and had to miss the 2020 season due to blood clots. So Terry Francona has had some health issues that's kept him away lately from the game of baseball.
And this is certainly not the first time. And the sad thing is Terry Francona, I've met him, is one of the all-time good human beings in baseball.
He is definitely.
Everybody roots for him.
Yes, and he's done well wherever he's been.
Stressful, man. Stressful position.
Yep.
Rolling right along. I know George wants to get to this. His Braves last night, absolutely all over the Minnesota Twins in the first and second inning. They homered 5 times in their first 10 plate appearances. Ronald Acuna Jr., 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Acuna, Riley, Murphy, and Harris, all with home runs within the first 10 plate appearances. Kobe Allard took the ball today for the Braves.
Love it.
4 2/3, scoreless baseball, 8 strikeouts. They get the win to sweep the Twins 2-0. And the rumors are swirling. Mark Bowman, who does a yeoman's work job over there for MLB.com for the Braves, is speculating that Mike Soroka will take the ball on Friday to give Spencer Strider and Charlie Morton extra days rest before the All-Star break. So I know George is looking forward to that, but Kobe Allard, heck of a job today for the Braves. Spot starter, got it done.
Yeah, that's pretty nice when you can get that to happen. I know you got one other story.
Yeah, last thing, we had some breaking news come out. The ACC and the SEC have released their basketball schedule for their challenge going on later on this winter. In the men's side, Duke is going to travel to Bud Walton Arena to play Arkansas. Miami is going to take the trip up to Rupp Arena to play Kentucky. Tennessee going on the road to play Hubert Davis's North Carolina Tar Heels. Boston College coming to Nashville to play Jerry Stackhouse's Vanderbilt Commodores. On the women's side, Virginia Tech and LSU going to be a really good matchup on that women's side. Over there, Notre Dame going to play Tennessee, Louisville versus Ole Miss Georgia, and finally South Carolina's women going on the road to the Tar Heel State to play North Carolina.
Okay, excited to be able to say that after the break, we will be joined by one of the original Nashville Predators from year one, barely year one, but definitely year one. David Legwand will join us at our broadcast site. Guy, get ready.
The first ever draft pick.
That's right. Stay tuned. We're coming back. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled. How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Lanes. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. So I want to take all of you back as we welcome you back here at Bridgestone Arena. I want to say it would have been right around the start of April of 1999, the story that we're about to paint for you. Guy, I know it was the final game of the regular season, and I remember walking in that night, and the rumor was they've activated this 18-year-old hotshot, and he's going to play tonight. What do you remember of it?
I remember that. I mean, there was a lot of anticipation from the time he was drafted in Buffalo, and everybody was waiting to see what was going to happen. So it was great to see him come in and make that kind of appearance, that's for sure.
And lo and behold, that hot shot is here at our broadcast booth as we say hello to former Pred David Legwan. Don't leave me hanging there.
No.
How you doing?
Good. Everything's good. Excited to be here for the events and everything that the team's doing for the old guys, the young guys, and the new guys. So it's all fun. It's great to see the city. It's great to be back and enjoyable.
So tell us the circumstances. What do you remember, first of all, about that night? And how did they kind of tell you, hey, we're going to give you kind of this one night, moment in the sun that year?
I remember New Jersey was going for the most road wins in league history, and they were coming in here trying to win a hockey game. So it was exciting. It was a quick turnaround, getting into the game, and obviously, you're going from junior hockey to playing against men, and obviously that was Jersey in their heyday in '99, and they're running at cups, and we were a young and up and coming team and trying to figure it out. So it was neat.
That night, did you feel like you belonged at that level?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it was not nerves or anything like that, but excited energy, I think is a better way to put it. And you're never really ready for it. I don't think anyone can say, I'm ready to play in the National Hockey League. Like, it just comes, and it's something you've done your whole life, and then you're at the highest level, and got to play here a long time.
I'm trying to remember back. So were you on the opening day roster the next year?
Yes.
So you're agreeing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So was that helpful, that one night the year before?
Yeah, I think it was, because I think you kind of knew what to expect. And, there is an adjustment period. And I was talking to Derek Mason about that, Connor Bedard's turning 18 in another month, and it's not going to be an easy adjustment. You're living on your own. You got groceries to get. You got laundry to do. You got hockey practice. You got hockey games. It's 82 games. It's not like you're playing 5 games or 4 games. You're playing 82 games. You're playing 2 or 3 games a week, and it's a grind.
So who kind of helped you through all that at age 18?
We had a good older crew, obviously. Tommy Fitzgerald, Greg Johnson, Drake was Bearhowski was my first roommate. But like guys,
we'll get to that in a minute.
Guys like Bobby Bugner were here, older guys that have been around the league that knew what to expect. And then having David and Barry, I mean, they're the pillars that built the organization. They laid the foundation down for this organization and franchise, and it's thriving today.
So obviously we are thrilled to have Barry Trotz back. I think he's going to do a great job. I think he has figured out where all the bones are buried in this thing. What was your thought when you heard he was going to go back as a GM?
It was good. I think, he's been around the game for, 25 years at this level. And you think about it, he's a, third all-time winningest coach in the National Hockey League. Like, I mean, that's you can't deny that or take that away. Like, that's real stuff. So he's going to do a phenomenal job. He knows the league. He knows the players. He's got, Scotty Nickel there. David's, going to advise and help. And Jeff Kelty's got an eye for talent. And these are all good hockey people. And the scouting staff is phenomenal here. The support system's phenomenal. And he's got good shoulders to lean on.
So I'm going to ask a couple more things and then turn it over to Guy. You've stayed in hockey, haven't you?
Yeah. So yeah, with junior hockey in Sarnia, owning a team and being around and involved in those types of things is exciting. It's learning a different side. It's a lot, but it's fun. So yeah, to kind of do that with my time and coaching kids hockey.
Did you say owning a team?
Yeah.
I love that. Craig Leopold Jr. over here. Very impressive.
Actually, so we don't have any kids this year in the draft. We kind of went on a little playoff run this year, so we kind of had to give up our young guys. But we'll be a young team next year and got to replace some pieces.
So Drake Barahowski and I did a radio show for a couple of years and absolutely just loved dealing with him. Great guy. He's kind of doing the same thing you are, isn't he?
He is. He's got the kids in hockey, and he's living in the Detroit area. Haven't seen him much, but he's got 5 or 6 kids, so I'm sure he's a little busy in a hectic lifestyle with that. Those little ones running around.
You know, Mark, what I thought of when he came over here earlier this afternoon, first thing I thought of was all the Michigan crap I used to have to listen to. Hail to the victors.
Yeah.
They might win again this year.
Go Ohio State. Put it out there. Go Ohio State. What do you got for him?
Well, you were one of the top. You were second in the draft pick wise. You know, the anticipation, I'm sure, was there to some extent, but you knew where you were going to go pretty much, and the Predators were going to take you from that standpoint. But what was the draft like for you? What was that day like? What were your emotions like?
It's obviously busy. It's different now with the phones and the coverage of the draft and all that stuff. It wasn't like that in the past. And the league and the teams have done a phenomenal job with promoting it, putting it out there, and getting people to see these players and these, they're young men. They're 17, 18 years old. And a lot of fans don't get to see them. They don't get to, junior hockey and college hockey isn't televised as much, and it's hard to get to know the players, and they've done a phenomenal job putting profiles out, getting kids in front of cameras, in front of media and those types of things. So that's they've done a great job with it. And in 1998 it wasn't as big a thing. You see it with the NFL draft. It's a whole scene for a whole week, and
should have seen it when it was here.
Yeah, it was crazy.
A monster here for sure from that standpoint. But was there an anticipation level at all for you as far as what
Yeah, I think there's anticipation, excitement. It's a new step in life. I think it's something bigger. Obviously, every kid grew up playing street hockey, ball hockey, ice hockey, and that's your dream is to play in the National Hockey League. And for 200 and something kids tomorrow, that dream takes another step by getting drafted and those types of things. So it's exciting to be here. If you can see kids get drafted and achieve one of their goals in life, and that's a big thing.
A lot of these guys are going to get drafted. It's going to be 3 or 4 years for them to play in NHL. You got to play the year after you got drafted. Being a part of an expansion team, was that a big positive for you as far as making it quick into the league?
It was different. I think obviously the first couple of years here with Barry and David were, we played hard. We played a system, and we probably won more games than people thought we were going to win.
Yeah.
First year we won 28 games, which isn't terrible considering the expansion team, and we played the right way though, and that's what I think Barry and David have done such a phenomenal job with is laying a foundation down, building blocks and for the franchise, the organization, and those types of things.
It's going to make it easier, I think, for the transition for Barry to be the general manager, because David, you worked with David as a coach, and David's, like I said, advising him. It should make the transition for him a lot easier, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think David's, he's done it for 45 plus years, so it's not anything new to David, but I think having someone like that walk him through it, and Barry's a smart man. He picks things up quick, so it's good for the organization and the franchise to get through it together, and it's going to be a little bit of a transition, but I think they'll be fine.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, I got a couple more memories I want to go through. Until the Preds made the run to the Stanley Cup final in 2017, I would claim the loudest I ever heard this arena was an empty net goal that ended the first playoff victory series against Anaheim. You remember it well, don't you?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it's 2011 and against Anaheim in here, Game 6, and it was an exciting time. That's one of those things we talk about, the stepping stone of doing something else and something different. And maybe the loudest in here might have been 04 though, when we played the Red Wings, and that was our first playoff series, and we came home for Game 3. It was like, whoa,
Easter Sunday,
and we actually, I think our payroll is 19 million, and theirs was 82 or 84, and we put together a good series against them, and I think right then and there it kind of put us on the map. And obviously you get sidetracked in 04-05 with the lockout, but then the teams David built in 05, 06, 06, 07, 07, 08, those are good hockey teams that won 50 games a year. I mean, that's a lot of wins, and there were some players coming through here that were hell of hockey players, and it was exciting times.
There was a playoff series against Detroit that the Preds won 4-1, and it was always, back then it was comparing, using Detroit as the measuring stick. Later it became the Blackhawks to some extent, but in the early days it was the Red Wings, and it was like tearing down a Berlin Wall when you all beat them in 5. Give me some thoughts about that series.
That was in 2012. It was exciting. I mean, for myself, obviously being from Detroit and having a chance to beat them, and then being the model franchise they were since the mid-90s. And there being a lot of transplants here also from Detroit. I mean, I remember the first couple of years when we'd play the Red Wings, and it was 8,000 Red Wing fans and 8,000 Nashville fans. It was 50-50 in here. So
yeah,
that kind of, I think, set us up, or the franchise up, for the long haul and the excitement around town, and being like, okay, we're not you keep bringing up my Michigan comment. We weren't the little brother. We weren't the little brother anymore. We turned into the big brother, and it was nice to finally beat them.
Yeah. And have you walked around downtown? It's changed a little.
Yeah, it's changed. I wouldn't say a little, a lot.
No, tell me about it.
There's buildings going up everywhere and people everywhere, but it's exciting, and for the Preds to be one of the main reasons that it is growing like that is huge.
So tonight during the draft, what will you be doing?
Probably watching it.
Well, I mean, are there any of your players?
No, we have no players this year getting drafted. So if there was players, then we would have their players and their families here and be sitting with them.
So tonight you're just a spectator.
Just a spectator.
Okay. And being here on this show, one of the true highlights for you.
Yes, probably number one.
What a liar.
I know, yeah.
What a liar.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. Hey, it's good seeing you.
Good seeing you guys.
Long time, no talk.
It's been a long while.
This is one of the good guys.
Got drafted.
This is one of the good guys that we enjoyed covering at the very beginning of the Predator existence in Nashville. David Legwand has been our guest. Stay tuned. We will have more in a moment. But first, David needs to know about the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Now, I've been honest in the commercial. I've never been to a Grand Prix. And so this year, when I got invited, I accepted like that. The deal is, what has gotten my attention is a bunch of you out there have said, I was in the same boat. Never been to one, been to it one of the last 2 years, and you all come away saying, wow, this is one of the coolest things going. And I get it, and I'm excited, and I will be there on those dates that are listed on your screen. Tickets are now available, and they have been for a while. What is new is the single-day tickets are now also on sale. It's as simple as going to musiccitygp.com. Again, musiccitygp.com. And stay tuned after the break. Kelly Holcomb will rejoin us. We'll talk NFL Draft and what that feels like. Stay tuned.
As the trusted premier custom home. As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Okay, we are back. Look at all this activity around us. I mean, people know this is where it's happening.
David Legwine, Pete Weber, Claudia Weber, and we've got some stars
Oh,
here.
I mean, we've got the whole Buffalo connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Here. Let's bring Kelly back real quickly. Kelly, what were your years in Buffalo?
2005, 2006.
And Pete, what were your years in Buffalo? And nice to have you join us.
Thank you. 76 to 78, and then 82 to 98.
So you were there a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good while.
So did you root for Kelly as a Buffalo Bill?
How can you not? There's no way you can avoid that. You got to do it. Kelly, yes. In your corner.
Appreciate it. Great place to play.
Yes.
Kelly, give us a little bit of, from a player perspective, what are one of these kids tonight feeling as they're getting ready for this?
Just a lot of anticipation, George. Just I'm sure they're ready to get it over with. I'm sure they've done all the stuff where the NFL, you got to go through the combine, you got to go through all that stuff where they're interviewing you, they do background checks and all that stuff. You have to get a trainer, and you have to work out nowadays, and you have to throw the ball, and you have to run routes, you have to work out. Same thing with the NHL players, I'm sure. I'm sure they're ready to have it over with. They've heard all the speculation of where they're going to go, all the anticipation of this team's talked to me, that team's talked to me, but you're not really sure. So it all comes to fruition tonight where they'll finally know where they're going. It's just a proud moment for their families. It's a proud moment for them because all the hard work that they put in along the way, all the times that mom or dad have taken them somewhere to a game out of state or out of province in Canada. I see all these players are from Canada and all over the place. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm sure they're ready for it to be here tonight, ready for it to be over with.
So, Pete, when you first got involved in the NHL,
Right.
which is before the Predators,
Yep.
what was the draft like back then?
It was a conference phone call that sort of ran out of the Queen Elizabeth Hotel in Montreal. So hardly anybody was there.
That's it.
Was 1980 the first year it was public?
Yes. Yeah, that pretty much was it there, Mark. And that sort of changed everyone's perception of this draft. Because it was before, when it was still a conference called draft, that was when the late Paul Whelan, who was so incredibly funny, talked Punch Imlach into drafting a non-existent player and had him play for the Tokyo Katanas, which was Japanese for sabers.
Oh, my goodness. That's hilarious.
Taro Tujimoto was the fictional player's name.
Kelly, did you ever go to Sabres games when you were in Buffalo?
I did. I went to 2 Sabres games. Yeah, that's where I got into hockey because they were really into hockey in Buffalo. They are really into it up there, and I got to go to a couple of games, and that's why I really enjoyed it because that was really the first time that I'd seen hockey, and they loved it so much. And I'm like, what is all the fuss about? And they were actually playing really well. So it's fun to watch. I said the other day, it's really fun to watch. It's fast paced. It's not like your game baseball where there's nothing going on except a pitcher to a catcher. Yeah, exactly, George. Exactly. But hockey's just so it's neat to watch.
Don't be ripping on baseball.
I'm not. I mean, I know it's your game. I love baseball growing up. I've told you that plenty of times. But
I mean, you got 3 people here who
worked in
probably love the game in the top 10 in this city, and you take that shot.
I'm
First
just
time I met
telling
Pete
you
was
what a
covering
guy.
the Buffalo Bisons when he was with them.
I'm just telling you what a guy
And
that's
now-
played football when it's fast paced, and when you're watching hockey that's fast, it's hard to get accustomed to that, George. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I had 2 members of the Buffalo Bills who would come into our fantasy play-by-play booth. Will Wolford and
Vanderbilt guy.
yeah, he absolutely, and he said, forget that nickname Tractor. Okay, that's something out of Vanderbilt PR. Forget about that altogether. And they enjoyed doing hockey play-by-play upstairs right next to us.
That's hilarious. I've heard that. I know Will pretty well.
I think I've got a recording someplace on an old cassette.
Yeah, you might want to burn it.
They might pay me to burn it.
Kelly, when you hear and you heard the interview with David Legwand, an 18-year-old playing, quote, in the big leagues, whether it's baseball, hockey, whatever, I mean, it has to take a really special individual to pull that off.
It made me think back to when I tell people this all the time. I remember when I was young with the Indianapolis Colts, and we went to play the Buffalo Bills, and Bruce Smith was on the other side of the ball. And I don't care how much experience you got or how they think you're going to play as a young guy, how much experience you got in college. There's nothing like going against a guy like Bruce Smith. I don't care if you played at Miami, at UT, at Alabama. You just cannot get ready for that. And for a guy that's 18 years old that is coming in with the Bedard kids coming in with all this hype and talking about a generational talent. I thought David did a good job of talking about, you don't think about things like that. You've got to get you a place to live when you're 18. You've got to get your groceries when you're 18. Then you got to talk to the media. And then you've got all the pressure of being the number one pick. There's so many things that go into it. And there's some guys that can handle it. We talked about this the other day. Some guys can handle it, but some guys can't. So he'll have a lot of people around him. Obviously, they want him to succeed. If he's the number one pick, they'll put people in his corner that is going to help him tremendously. I don't know about his parents. I don't know if they'll come with him, but 18 years old is an awful young age to be out there on your own and the number one pick and having to deal with all of life. So it's going to be interesting to see how that transpires.
He'll be wearing a Blackhawks jersey too. He won't be playing anywhere else, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Okay,
He's not going to go back to Regina. He's going to be right there.
Okay, I was going to ask both of you that. So he's going to get drafted tonight by the Blackhawks. Is it automatic that he is on their roster opening night?
I think so.
Yeah, I do too. He's that good, and they really have shredded their roster to accommodate him coming in.
You've got guys like Jonathan Tays are no longer there and others, so they've got to fill a gap to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be putting a lot on him.
And they just got Taylor Hall from the Bruins
to
be a good mentor for him. And Kelly, I was thinking about another young quarterback getting to be real personal with Bruce Smith, and that was Jeff George. And I think that we're talking about 18-year-olds. Well, he was 23 at the time, and Jeff George had some really good impressions of Bruce Smith when that game was over.
Oh, I'm sure he did. But there was well, I'm not going to tell the story, but like I just use that as an example all the time when you're talking about a young guy that's a can't miss. It's just, I don't care how good you are. You've still got to learn the pro game, and you still got to understand that guy across from you has played for 16 years. He knows every trick in the book, and he's still a dog, and he's still really good. So that's kind of the example I always use to guys, because I remember playing against him, and it wasn't me playing that day. It was Peyton. That was his rookie year. And just seeing him get off the ball and how quick he was. And then you got Cornelius Bennett. You got all those guys that played, Darryl Talley, all those guys. It was fun to watch. But when you've got a guy that's talented like a Bruce Smith, and he's played for so long, if you're a young guy, it takes experience to learn all that.
It's like the old stories I would get about guys playing against Dick Butkus for the first time.
Yep.
Not pretty.
No.
So help me with this, Pete. So this young guy who's going to get drafted tonight, Connor Bedard, not only do we know he's going to be with the Chicago Blackhawks, but apparently half of Chicago knows. What was the number of dollars of tickets they sold in the first 24 hours?
First 24 hours, it was close to $1 million worth of tickets. So not much pressure.
And what's the things the general manager keeps on saying, we're not sure whether he's going to be number one or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure they're not. So, Kelly, throw that piece of pressure on there that these ticket sales in Chicago have been generated because they know he's coming. How do you temper all that for this young kid?
George, I can't imagine 18 years old. I mean, that's 18 years old. When I was a rookie, I was 22. So I had at least 4 more years of experience and trying to grow up and mature a little bit. But 18 years old, I don't. He's got to have a good support staff around him, George. Now, the team will put that in place, but when he gets out, when he goes home, they're not with him anymore. So I don't know. I've heard some of these guys in the NBA have done it when they're so young and their parents go with them or their mom lives with them and can cook for them. But it's going to be a difference. And he's going to one of the bigger cities in the United States, in Chicago. So there's a lot of hazards out there for an 18-year-old child. That's for sure, especially when you've got a franchise on your shoulder.
Well, Sidney Crosby, for example, lived for a long time in Mario Lemieux, the great player and owner of the team, his basement. Patrick Kane lived in the same home with then general manager Stan Bowman. So there is some precedence for this.
Wow.
Well, I think the one thing is Bedard has dominated since he was 13 years old. He's dominated every level he's been at. So I think that making this challenge, he's going like, it's just another level.
Another challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is he, Pete, when I hear the word can't miss, that label.
Yeah.
There have been in baseball some can't misses that missed.
Yeah.
That's right. In the franchise I love, Brad Kamensk.
Yes.
Supposedly the next Henry Aaron, but nobody.
We're still waiting for him.
Yes. But nobody in the hockey world throws up any caution at all about this kid.
The scouts have done a good job selling us. I got to say that.
In the world championships, he just dominated it. I mean,
yes.
He was
playing against men.
Yeah, I mean, he did great. I mean, he was dominating. I think that really probably pushed him over the level. Everybody knew how great he was, but I think his performance in that really made a big difference.
Yep.
So I know you're here for another reason.
The draft?
Well, that as well. But at 3:30,
Yeah.
you're involved in the TSU press conference.
Yeah, they've asked me to come and show up for that. I'm going to bring Scott Nickel, who might be the TSU director of hockey operations.
Oh.
He didn't look like he knew that.
No. He's surprised about that thing.
So it seems to me, help me with this, hockey on whatever level, that's a lot of cost, equipment, that kind of stuff. What
Not
does
to
it,
mention what it also happens to a NCAA program, Title IX. So are they going to do men's and women's?
I hadn't thought about that. That's right.
well, don't you think that ends up getting asked
Yes.
in the press
There
conference?
might be somebody there who would ask that.
Right. It's not me. I'll be up here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I hadn't even thought about that. That's true. Yeah.
Because that was the deal. That's how Penn State could do what they did now 11 years ago. They added both men's and women's at the same time.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. If you're trying to budget for hockey on the college level,
yeah,
what do you got to budget?
Well, I'm going to guess number one, travel is certainly going to be something because there aren't going to be a lot of colleges nearby to play unless they start out just playing the club teams.
Which I'm told they will for the first 2 years.
Yeah. So the team that I think could be dominant in the SEC would be Georgia when they decide to go varsity because of the instruction they've had from the old Atlanta Flames players that have stayed down there because their teams, their youth hockey teams, look darn good.
But this costs some money.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. You got to think about recruiting, scheduling. I cannot imagine. I would not want to be, as we refer to them in sports, as the bean counter who has to be in charge of that.
Well, it's University of Alabama, Huntsville.
Yes.
I mean, they had to deal with all that too, especially with travel stuff.
Several
And
times.
they had an outstanding team for a lot.
A national championship
Yeah,
team.
definitely. Yeah.
Where are the Preds in the middle of this? Because obviously their
Willing to help.
influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
willing to help, big time.
Is that games at Ford Ice Center? What will that
Or
be?
maybe a game or two here when you get things going. We've had various college hockey games here.
True.
So I can see that happening again.
Yeah.
You had a lot of the club hockey games here.
Yes.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, Kelly, it's simple. I write them a check. You got the money.
Me?
I love the look on your face, Kelly.
No, I'm out on that, George. No, sir.
Why did he have that look? The guy is loaded.
It was, you were stricken. That look was a man stricken.
It was a little bit stricken.
He was a little shocked. He was a little shocked at that, I think.
George wants to throw that up all the time, and as we know nowadays, everything is a money pit. I just took a car in this morning, and I had to take a call while we were on air here when y'all were talking to David Legwan, and I'm shocked at how much it's going to cost me. It's just
and
crazy the way things are.
what is ailing the vehicle right now?
It's got a battery, but you would think that they put gold dust in the battery. I mean, can I go to AutoZone and get a battery?
Or as they say it in Greek, Kelly, bateria.
I don't know. Whatever it was,
That sounds strong.
My jaw dropped when I found out how much it was.
Oh, this is a tragedy.
tragedy.
Okay.
Well, let's start a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it happening. Okay, go do your press conference.
Thank you very much, George.
Thank you for coming down here. As you can tell today, we're having a little fun going with the flow.
Yes, and that's the whole idea.
Pete's just glad to be going to TSU. I'm so glad to go to TSU.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
No. I'm very honored that they asked that I show up.
That's very cool
for that, and that's extremely nice.
Will they have the band down there?
I hope so. But in the rehearsal hall, it's not so difficult to march. But I was just thinking about all those rainy Saturdays, the day before Titan games, where they were worried about damage that could be done to the field by the TSU band.
Yep. Don't have to worry about that in hockey.
Howard Gentry, yep, he would be fine with that.
They set fire to the Vanderbilt turf.
Yes.
That's been a long time ago. I was in school when all that happened.
Roy Kramer was out there stomping the fire.
Oh, he was not happy. He was not happy.
You don't want those melted plastic blades.
Definitely not. Definitely not. That's
Okay. I actually have to go to a commercial break.
All right.
Thank you for coming over here.
Thank you, Pete. Always great to see you.
When we come back, here's a little bit of what we're going to do. We're going to have stat of the day, which probably will be a disaster. Then Butch Samide somewhere in the arena with another report. We're about 4 hours away from the beginning of the NHL draft. And later in the show, former Predator Steve Sullivan will join us at this very location.
Great.
So stick around. More from Bridgestone Arena when we come back.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning. Those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700, send us a message at celestemiddleton.com, or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code
492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards in all sports. And then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general. Baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised. And, of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Welcome back in. It is time for Stat of the Day on this Wednesday here in Nashville. NHL Draft, coming up here just a few hours away before the Chicago Blackhawks are officially on the clock. Stat of the Day presented to you by the good folks at John English Antique Sports and Cars, located in Shelbyville, Tennessee. 204 East Depot Street is where you can find them. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So give them a call at 931-492-4304. This one's going to be a fun one and an interesting stat of the day. It's going to be based off Shohei Ohtani's performance last night out in Los Angeles. Last night, Shohei Ohtani became the 6th pitcher in MLB history to record 10 strikeouts on the mound and also hit 2 home runs in the same game. The 6th pitcher to do it since 1893. Can you name the last pitcher to record 10 Ks and hit 2 home runs in the same game? And it has been very recent.
Are you kidding?
No, I can't.
I mean,
recent.
Well, first of all, let's bring Kelly up.
Kelly's
because
in there.
Kelly's going to give us the big shrug.
There's been some good hitting pitchers.
I'd like to get full screen on Kelly.
Oh, I'll guess Tom Glavine.
Okay,
well now hold on. We're gonna talk.
Kelly
through
is
this.
full screen.
Okay, Kelly, in that full screen, do you have even a clue?
No.
Okay, that was an honest answer.
Do you have a clue?
Take long.
Because I'm thinking about it. So let's go back to this.
Last pitcher to record 10 strikeouts in the game he pitched and also hit 2 home runs in the same game.
Okay, first of all, Glavine never hit 2 in
Just
a
hit
game.
1.
Yeah, so let's shut Glavine out of this.
I'll help you out. How about that?
Okay.
Madison Bumgarner has done it, but somebody's done it since him.
Wow.
It happened in, I think it's 2019.
Oh, wow.
Who's a really good
Lord.
hitting? He is an active pitcher today.
Okay, just hold on a second. Let's toss this through. Kelly, feel free to help us in any way you can.
Yeah, I have no clue. I mean, I was thinking like Max Scherzer or something like that.
You know, the sad thing is I ought to have a clue, and I don't. Nothing is popping in.
But you
So
have
let's go.
no
Let's
clue
go.
either.
Well, let's go National League for a minute. Of people who might have done it, Zach Wheeler comes to mind from the Phillies. Don't know why, but he's certainly a power pitcher who would fit this.
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
This guy played against the Braves in that 21 World Series as a pitcher and got a hit in one of the games. Didn't hit a homer, but got a hit. Got it in game number 4 against Kyle Wright.
Boy, I don't know.
We're tapping out.
Yeah, I am tapping
It
out.
is Zach Greinke.
Greinke was that good a hitter?
I would not know that.
Zach Greinke can rake. They had him on the pitch hitting list that World Series when they went to Atlanta. Greinke was listed as a pitch hitter for the Astros. Zach Greinke could absolutely hit back in the day. Bumgarner has also struck out 10 and hit 2 homers in the same game. I think he did it in Arizona when he's with the Giants, but Greinke did it in 2019.
Nobody's picked him up, have they?
No, they haven't. I'm kind of surprised about that.
You know, you think about it, as we go down the stretch, that might be one to watch, that some team contacts him and says, you know, I just saw Dallas Keuchel signed a minor league deal, for God's sakes. Madison Bumgarner has way better stuff than Dallas Keuchel.
Definitely.
So for those of you who may just be joining us, if you're joining us live, here's what's going on. As you can see in the background, we've got a lot of things happening around the NHL Draft, which is now less than 4 hours away. Our own Butch Samide is God only knows where in Bridgestone Arena. Let's bring him up and get another report. Butch, where are you?
Yes, sir, George. So I'm actually in the lower bowl here at Bridgestone Arena, overlooking what most people will be familiar as the ice. But for today, it is where all the team tables and also the stage that all the young men drafted tonight will walk across.
It's an impressive deal. I walked in there earlier and done a very nice job with this. Very creative. Looks good for television. Tell me more.
Yeah, so there's been media people walking around pretty much everywhere, touring, many groups of people walking around, just marveling at how beautiful this setup is. Like I said earlier, you know, you come in here and you're expecting to see the hockey, the players, you know, that kind of fanfare. But right now, I mean, everyone working this event is just blown away by how just amazing this whole thing looks.
Guy, would I be right that this is, by NHL standards, way better than most of the drafts in the past?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I've been to several of them through the years. Yeah, this is more of a, I know there's a polish to it you don't see with a lot of the drafts. I mean, you go to some, I won't name the cities. There are a couple of cities that are pretty nondescript with their draft situations, and a couple of them have been pretty good. But yeah, the Nashville's by far and away ahead and shoulders above everybody, because there's just maybe it's because of where we are in the entertainment area or whatever, but it takes it to a different notch here.
I've used the term that the Preds have helped teach the NHL a thing or two in marketing.
Definitely so. And you hear about it now. I mean, today I was listening on NHL.com, and you know, they were all hyping Nashville. No, Nashville's the place to be. Nashville's where the people want to see hockey. Nashville's this, that, and the other. And what, 20 years ago, everybody's like, Nashville?
Yeah.
No, that's not going to ever happen.
Oh, I remember. Listen, I remember a radio interview. I got royally pissed off with a group out of Montreal. We were trying to keep the team alive.
Right.
And so I'm going on their show, and one of their hosts says, why do you feel you deserve a second chance? And I said, don't sit here and act like your laundry is all clean. I said 2 words, Montreal Expos.
Exactly.
And, you know, that kind of shut that argument up a little bit.
And they're trying to get a second chance with baseball.
Yeah. So let's back up from inside the bowl. Butch, what all are you seeing in there? Is there really anything going on the floor, or is that all later in the night?
Well, like I said, you know, there's been tours, lots of big groups of people walking around, getting their chance to take pictures, see everything that's been going on. I actually just watched, and I helped a little bit. They gave, so apparently certain media members get gift bags. I don't know if we applied for the gift bag, but they were putting out gift bags for all the media members when the draft does start. Yeah, not too much going on right now, but just a lot of people kind of, you know, calm before the storm, breathing in the moment, and just really enjoying how amazing this is to be able to host such an amazing event.
So you grabbed a gift bag for yourself?
No, George. Do not spin this to something that it is not. I assisted in the handing out of the goodie bags on the media tables. I would never steal something like that from. I'm surprised I haven't been kicked out. I'm surprised I wasn't, tackled and dragged away from the awards earlier. I'm just happy to be here. I'm trying to not cause problems.
What the hell? I thought I taught him better.
Yeah.
Whatever you can grab, get
Go
at
for
it. If it's free, it's we.
Grab 2 or 3.
No, well, maybe later in the night. If someone doesn't show up, maybe I'll make my way back down here and make my best impression and grab a goodie bag or two.
Butch, in lieu of that, bring food.
I will, George.
Talk to you in a little while. Butch Samad reporting live from the floor where the NHL Draft will take place. Kelly, I'm shocked. I mean, I thought I taught him better than that.
I couldn't imagine you getting angry, though, George. You talked about how you got angry about the Montreal deal. I have never seen you angry.
I have.
It was, it was
like a daily. That's
we
like
were
a daily
fighting.
thing with you.
We were fighting hard at the time. What's shocking is it's now been 16 years ago, and 16 years in 3 weeks. And we were running essentially what was a political campaign. And, the assets we had were that the Chamber of Commerce had great manpower, led by Ralph Schultz, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, led by Butch Spiriton. So we had great manpower, but we didn't have a lot of people believing in what we were doing. And that was really frustrating me. We'd go on shows, we'd pub the fact we need all of you to come out here. And for a long time, we couldn't tell whether it was going to work. Guy, you were covering it.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I was wondering myself too. I mean, it was like I said, it was a political situation, and the Jim Basile situation, which he's been in a movie now lately. We're talking about the Pittsburgh problems he had, but that was such a joke to a large extent, and the Hamilton selling tickets already. And the team hasn't even been sold here yet, and there were so many things going on like that. Where it was such a circus atmosphere as well from that standpoint. But I think that with the rallies and all the coverage and that type of thing, people finally realized. I think really probably Basile starting to sell tickets in Hamilton was what really got people's attention here. And I mean, it was like, this is serious. This is going to happen, and we got to do something.
Kelly, I can tell the story now. My mom called me the night before, and I told her, she was still alive at the time, and I said, Mom, we're going to bomb. This thing's going to be a disaster. And she wanted to know how we were going to spin it if it didn't go well. And I said, we're not going to spin at all. I said, as a group, we're going to say we didn't get enough done. So we get there the next morning. It's about 4:30 in the morning. And I'm here, our engineer at our broadcast site, he and I were like the first 2 people in the building. And at 5:30 in the morning, all of a sudden we start seeing people showing up. And I'm like, damn, maybe this is going to work. And I was so excited. I got a big carton of donuts and took them out to those people because they weren't opening the building until like 6 in the morning. And I went out there and I told them, I said, you have no idea how happy I am to see you all. Maybe we got a chance. And, you look now 16 years later, and what a shame it would have been had we lost it. And all these great memories that have happened since wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's been a huge get for the city of Nashville, the state of Tennessee. There's no question about that. And just like Pete Weber was talking about, y'all were talking earlier where they said, well, Tennessee's a hockey place. Well, now everybody talks about how they want to come to Nashville. So it was really cool that they had the NFL draft here. Now it's going to be really cool that they've had the NHL draft tonight. So are they expecting 10,000 people, George? Is that what you said?
About 13 in 2003, so I would say around 10 or so at least. Probably.
Yeah, I think it's basically whatever they've got a tarp over the end zone that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, the building holds a little over 17. There's a little more than 17,000 seats in the arena. My guess is it will be completely full.
Yeah.
Well, we were
that's
talking about
exciting.
their atmosphere and stuff. One of the guys was talking today, and NHL guys was saying that that they brought the SEC excitement to hockey here. That it's very similar to going to SEC football game by going to a hockey game. The situation is very similar.
Guy, I've never asked you this before, but while we were trying to do whatever it was we were going to do to keep this thing from leaving, what were the players and the coaches telling you? Did they think they were out of here?
They did. I think they did think that. I don't think they ever thought they were going to Hamilton. I think they thought they were going somewhere. I think there was a lot of concern about that. And I didn't talk to Barry about it, but I think some of the players were very concerned about it. And a lot of players, still live here, and they, so I think it would have been a real problem for them if that all happened from that standpoint. But I was very disappointed because when the NHL came here, I was like, oh wow. That's something I've been waiting for forever. And then, to actually have it in Nashville and to see all the chance to losing it, really, I was really disturbed myself from that standpoint.
Tell you something that happened, Kelly. This was about 4:00 in the afternoon. I had been at our broadcast site. It was essentially kind of almost a telethon kind of deal where you had to call a certain number if you wanted to buy tickets, and then the people answering the phones would send it upstairs to a group that would then take your order and, figure out what needed to be done. And at the end of the night, I'll never forget this. It was about 9:00, and this gentleman, and I don't think I've ever seen him since then, comes up to me. We've just gone off the air after, 15, 16 hours in a row. And this guy gives me, just out of nowhere, this huge bear hug. I don't know who he is. And I was like, what's that for? And he says, you just saved my job. And man, that's when it sort of hit home to me. Okay, maybe we have done something pretty cool. I do remember that night on the way home, the two phone calls I made, one to Ralph Schultz, the other to Butch Spearden. That was one of the most satisfying drives back to West Nashville that I've ever had.
I agree. I mean, all the work you did was you kind of downplayed that, but you were one of the main reasons this happened.
Well, there were a bunch of people involved in it. What I didn't know, I'll tell you one thing I didn't know. Kelly, at about 4:00 in the afternoon, I'd been at this same area where we had a bank of phones. So I really had no idea what was going on around the arena. And I had been asking Willie and Darren for weeks, do you think we can get 1,500 people to show up for this rally? And I don't know where I came up with 1,500, but I had very little belief that the word was getting through. So at 4:00, a buddy of mine shows up and he says, so what do you think? And I said, I think we could get to 2,000 because we were having great success with tickets. By then we had sold over 500 season tickets that day alone. And my buddy says, you have no idea what's going on around the arena, do you? And I said, no, I don't. He said, come with me. He said, get Willie to take over on the air. And he took me outside, and there were thousands of people out there. And apparently Butch Spearden had rented out a local band to play out there. And when I walked out there, I was like, oh my God, look at all these people. It was the greatest feeling in the world.
Oh, definitely.
But you had a hand in
and
that
there was
too.
a little bit
don't
of
give him Mark, don't give him too much credit now. I mean, don't give him too much credit.
If I was there, I know what happened, and he was the spearhead of this. What he wants to say was or not. I have to give him credit. I'm sorry, Kelly. I have to.
I have to deal with this dude every day.
Kelly, I'll tell you one other thing. Some of the dumbest comments. We would meet every Friday from about Memorial Day until we actually did the rally. We would meet every Friday in a conference room at Butch Spiriden's office. And as things got going, the crowd of people helping us got bigger and bigger. I roped Rick Region into being a part of this. And when we get down to the planning for the actual rally, Rick brings up the idea that we need box lunches for people who are going to come, during the middle of their work day to buy tickets. Well, I thought it was a stupid idea, and I said it. I said it out loud, and Walt Baker, who ultimately was the one who got the box lunches, agreed with me that it was stupid. Well, this was something I did hope bombed, that the box lunches would be a complete waste. We got rid of every last one of those damn things. And Rick Region, the rest of the day, as we're trying to celebrate the fact that this looks like it's working, he kept coming up, how those box lunches, and I'm like,
Rick Region right
yeah,
there.
and I'm like, you can take those box lunches and cram them. So that's one of the things I remember. But it is pretty satisfying to look around and realize that, none of this would have happened if they had left in 07. And it was a lot closer to happening.
It was very close
Than a lot of people realized.
Leopold had an offer on the table, or two. We had Balsilli's offer, which turned out he didn't have that kind of money to begin with. But even if they tried to buy it, he didn't have the money to take care of it. Thank goodness for Gary Bettman, who stood up to him not once but 3 times to keep him from getting a team.
Okay, tell me about that, because I don't know the whole history there.
He started to try to get the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right.
And Bettman said, nope, not going to happen. And was really, and that's part of the movie, like the movie Blackberry. That's part of that.
So you've seen the movie?
I've seen that part of
okay.
it. I've seen that portion of it. Somebody showed it to me. They said, you need to see this, because they knew I was involved with him when it was happening and talking to him on the phone. Didn't you call him Silly Ball Silly? Wasn't that your name?
I called him Ball.
You had some kind of nickname for him, I remember.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was.
But anyway, he also tried to buy the Predators, and then was already moving them to Hamilton before even had any approval from the owners. And the owners turned him down unanimously for Pittsburgh, and would have for Nashville too. And he went after the Arizona Coyotes as well, and he didn't have a hope on that one either.
Kelly, this is one more I can tell before we go to the break. So about midway through this whole process, I want to say mid to late June, the Ball Silly camp reaches out to me, and they want to have his attorney come on the show. And the attorney's name was Richard Rodier. And Rodier comes on the show, and he's on a treadmill the whole time. And you can tell that he's on a treadmill. And I throw him a softball. I said, what would your client want the people of Nashville to know about him? Well, instead of saying, he's a hardworking man, he's, he wants to be one of you all, he's excited. Rodier says to me on the air, he said, you people just need to chill. And I said, could you repeat that? And he said, yes. He said, you people just need to chill. Well, it was the closest in radio I ever came to using the F-bomb. Okay. And instead I popped out a, who the hell do you think you are? And I went off. I said, you've tried to buy our team. You're lying about your intentions. And we're the ones that need to chill. And I ended the interview pretty quick after that. And if I remember correctly, we used a clip from that interview the night of the rally.
That is, I would have loved to have heard that.
There.
I would have loved to have heard that. That would have been great hearing you go off on somebody.
Well, Ball Silly was a great interview because he was just nuts. You never knew what he was going to say. I mean, you call him on the phone, you go like, okay, and he just go off. on a tangent of some sort.
You would talk to him.
Yeah, I talked to him.
He and I never spoke.
I have his phone number somewhere. Of course, I'm sure it's not valid anymore because it was on a BlackBerry. So from that standpoint, but I called him a couple times. Yeah.
Wow. So there's our little history lesson for the day. When we come back after the break, we should be joined by former Predator Steve Sullivan. It'll be great to see him when he joins us at our broadcast site. Stay tuned. Kelly, you try to behave during the break. We're back with more in a moment. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Lanes. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between. Discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication. And we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome back. If you're watching this live, this is our coverage of the NHL Draft, which starts tonight at 7 o'clock Nashville time. He's Mark McGee, who has been a Predator contributor on the show for several years. And to the right, of course, is Kelly Holcomb, who is standing by in Murfreesboro. Kelly, I got something for you.
What's up?
Well, when Steve Sullivan joins us in a few minutes, Steve's been out in Arizona, out in Coyote territory. And I believe the Coyotes right now are the single biggest headache the league has. And Guy, you can take this.
I agree.
You can take this a little farther. Where is that thing headed?
Well, the new ownership group is supposedly very committed to it. So we're going to see how committed they are. They have to build an arena, and I think a lot of that money's going to have to come from the new owner because the cities around Phoenix have said, no, we're not interested at all. They can't keep playing in the college arena like they're doing right now.
5,000
seats, yeah. And so they can't keep doing that. So they've got to do something. But the new ownership group, people are feeling very confident about them and think they've got the deep pockets to do this. And they seem committed to keeping a team in the Phoenix area. But, I think that eventually they start running out of patience because, Houston wants a team. Quebec City wants a team. They're two that really stand out, really wanting teams right now. And there's places that team could go.
So let me ask this question. When we had Gary Bettman on yesterday, he indicated the NHL not looking to expand right now.
I can see waiting for a while.
Yeah, he sort of shot that down. So, holy cow, looky here.
It's Steve Sullivan.
Steve
It's been a while,
Sullivan.
man. Good to see you.
I got a little story on Steve Sullivan. He's going to join us.
Are we starting with stories?
We are going to start with stories.
Okay.
Let's get him situated here. By the way, it's nice to have you here.
It is
great to be here, guys. It's great to be here.
Here is the story that I have heard. On the night that the Steve Sullivan trade to the Predators was put together, the Preds were in Colorado. I take that back. They were in Columbus, I think. And on the flight home, they all learned you're coming. And a person who was on that flight described the players as downright giddy. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
Who's telling fibs?
Pete Weber.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got a memory, so he would remember stuff like that.
He would know.
He would know. He would definitely know.
So what do you remember about the actual trade? Were you excited about it at the time or not?
Well, funny story. If you want to hear the story, I was in a grocery store. I had just walked into the grocery store. I was in deep negotiations for a contract extension with them, and I was and I got the phone call. I was just starting, had a basket full of grocery. My wife's 34 weeks pregnant, so I'm at the grocery store, and I get a phone call, and it's Bob Pulford, and as a character as he is, and his voice was very rah, rah, right? So I thought someone was pulling a prank on me, telling me that he's like, we just made a trade and you're going to be going and thanks. And I was just like, all right, sounds good, Pulley. Like, really, who is this? Like pretty much. So then it kicked in. I left the grocery cart right there. Thank God it was a small little guy and I knew the owner and he figured something happened. I went home, told my wife. So I was a little bit in shock. I didn't see it coming per se, but I always loved Nashville. I loved playing here as a visiting player. I was intrigued by the city. I was intrigued by what was going on with the organization. So it didn't take very long for it from shock to be ecstatic to come. So obviously I've been in Chicago. We made one playoff appearance. We weren't very good. This was an upcoming team. We had a chance to make the playoffs. We were just playing out the rest of the season in Chicago, even before the trade deadline. That's how bad we were. So this was an exciting time for me to come here. So I was ecstatic.
Okay, you covered his first game.
I would say that was an impressive first game.
Thank you.
I mean, we're all right. So like, whoo, what a great trade this is,
3 goals, hat trick, first game.
Yes, first game here, yes.
How many hat tricks had you had before that?
5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But still, that was,
then I should be shaking your hand. Dad,
but still, though, that was such an impressive start. But I mean, you couldn't have expected it to be that great. I don't think.
No. You come to a new team, you want to kind of blend in. You don't want to make too many mistakes. You really don't know what the systems are. You don't really have any continuity with your line mates. You really don't know how they play, and so you're just trying to feel things out. So to come in, you just don't want to do anything wrong. But I had played with Scotty Walker at a couple world championships, so him and I had some chemistry. We killed a lot of penalties together. So. And we were put on a line together to start, and it clicked, and it went right away. And he made some great plays, and I was at the right place at the right time, and scored, a couple goals, 3 goals, and we ended up beating San Jose. And you can't dream of a better start. With the expectations of they've made a trade to kind of bolster the offense, and we're going to try to make a run at the playoffs. And then you come in here, there are some expectations. You're a little nervous about that, so. To be able to have that kind of night, I get asked that. I did an autograph session yesterday, and if it's not every 3rd or 4th person that says I was at your first game, so it was a memorable night for a lot of people here, and definitely for myself too.
But from a media standpoint, we were ecstatic, and so I know the fans were. We're like, wow, what a great trade! This is. It's going to be hard to do that, though. I mean, just to even have a a good game.
Yeah.
Because you're making the move. How long had you been in Nashville before you had to go out on the ice?
Yeah, we were
12 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
That's what I was thinking. It wasn't long, yeah.
I came in. There was no practice. It was a pregame skate in the morning, so I flew in. They flew back from Columbus that night after, and so then
they were giddy.
They were giddy. Yes, they were giddy.
So I had to get a bunch of stuff in order. You know, like I said, my wife. We have 2 children. My wife's about to give birth to a third. So I had a couple things that I had to get in order, so I couldn't make practice the next day. I don't think they were practicing anyways. So I flew in that night, had dinner, got up. I met everybody in the morning for pregame skate, went had a nap, and we started. So yeah, it was a very, very quick turnaround. So yeah, just fortunate about that start.
What I remember was there were hats flying everywhere.
Everywhere.
It looked like a big hat parade when the third one happened.
It was almost a stunning thing. I mean, the 2 goals was stunning, but I mean, the third goal was like, oh, you gotta be kidding, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you don't expect it as a player coming in. You don't expect that. I mean, like I said, like you play a lot of games. You don't usually get a lot of hat tricks, so it doesn't happen very often. It's just a once in a while type of thing. So for it to happen like that, it was great. It was really good.
The teammates have to know that you're getting close. I mean, were they setting you up a little bit toward the end and giving you as many chances as possible?
It happened pretty quick, so it wasn't like from the second to third one was pretty quick. So it's not like as if we're trying to get it. We were trying to win the game. San Jose was a good team at the time, and we were trying to pack some points in. We're trying to make a run to the playoffs. It's not like as if we were guaranteed to get in. Came down right to the end of the year, right? Last game of the year is when we got in. So we knew it was going to be tight. So I think we were more worried about the win than Steve Sullivan getting 3 goals.
You're still out in Arizona, aren't you?
I am, yes.
So help me to understand the problems out there, because we went through the same thing. We spent about 20 minutes before you got here talking about the rally and the whole ticket-thon that I was right in the middle of. And, every city, when they get in this kind of trouble, they want to find a way to pull it off. Can Arizona pull it off?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I think there is a way. To be quite honest with you, I did think the vote to Tempe was going to happen. I thought that it should happen. There's other circumstances that why they voted no. I don't think it has to do with the project itself. So that's disappointing, because I think that would have been a great spot for it. Right around Tempe is growing. Obviously, there's the fan base already starting to go to the Mullet Arena, which is right on campus, but it's also central to the Phoenix Valley. Very, very easy to get there from the north and from the east, where most of our fan base and where the youth hockey is booming and growing. It's on that side of the city, not on the west side where we were in Glendale. So there is a path to it. How do we get there now? I don't know.
I understand the new ownership is a lot of people feel like they're committed to this. And maybe are they committed enough to be able to build their own arena?
Yeah, well, they fired me a couple years ago, so I'm not sure if I'm the right person to be asking.
I thought they had another owner after
Thanks
you.
for asking.
No, I thought they had another ownership after yours.
No.
This
Well,
so they haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just.
Well, then if they did, to hell with them.
Yeah.
Let's get it moving to Houston.
Well, I love it in Arizona. I think there's a lot of great hockey people there, and I think the city needs a hockey team. It needs an NHL hockey team. I think it can work. It's just a matter of getting the right people in place to make it work on both sides. It can't just be a one way item here.
And here's the other thing: the Diamondbacks, all of a sudden, with some really good young talent, Ketel Marte and Christian Walker, all of a sudden they're leading the National League West. Thank you, Dodgers. I hope you're noticing. And they're starting to draw. It's a great sports area.
The thing about it is there's not a lot of people. It feels like, me being there 10, 11 years now, it feels like there's not a lot of people that are actually from there, right? So it's a lot of people coming in, snowbirds, imports, right? So it's a lot of everybody's coming from either, in the wintertime, especially a lot of people from Canada, from Calgary and Vancouver, Winnipeg, a lot of people from Illinois. A lot of people from other spots. So it's like when they come in, you have to have a winning team for them to really support you. It's not like it's a grassroots. I mean, you look at Vegas right now,
they're Vegas born. It was their own team. They brought them in. It's all the people. It's local people that are coming to the games. They're from Vegas. They're buying into it. And now that's a hockey market. So we do know that hockey in the desert can work.
Sure.
It's just what desert are we talking about?
And that's what people bring up. They say, no, it's working in Las Vegas. Why can't it work in
Well,
Arizona?
that's it, right?
Yeah.
So that we have to find what's the solution because we know it's going to work. So we're a little bit bigger than Vegas. So, but we gotta put a good product on the ice. If we can do that with a good product on the ice, I think that people are going to come. And you just look at for me, the biggest thing I'm looking at the new owner that just came in from Detroit that just bought the basketball team, the Suns, and he is coming out. He's very vocal. He's out in the public. He's very personable. He's very likable, and he's trying to make a lot of changes that's saying, hey, we want to win. We want to win for a long time, but I want this to be an experience for all the fans. I want them to come and enjoy themselves, and it's just about you as much as it is about us. Yeah. And I think people are connecting with them. So I think that's what we're hoping is going to happen on the hockey side.
Well, he certainly connected in the playoffs. Who was it he got into it? It was
Someone ran into him.
Well, it was somebody with Golden. Was it Golden State? Who was it that ran in on a loose ball? I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
who
they ran
it was.
him over.
His name is Matt, and I want to say Ishbia.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
It sounds right.
He's a former Michigan State basketball player who has clearly got a lot of money, and I don't.
Yeah, he is. So he's done well.
What will you be doing tonight?
I'm going to be a fan. I'm going to be watching to see exactly where we pick at 15 and at 24. I'm excited. I think my roots are still planted right here. I really enjoy even from a distance. I always watch. Obviously, I'm really good friends with Scott Nickel, the assistant GM. So we talk quite a bit on the phone. So I'm and a lot of other people in the organization that I want this to do well. From David Poyle to Barry Trotz. It's the same type of names that were here when I was here. So. I'm pulling for them. So it's going to be I'm going to be watching it as a fan and see what happens.
What did you think when you heard Barry's going to be the GM?
A little surprised, not shocked, but a little surprised. But after that, you can kind of see that, he's been around the game for a long time and he understands, and he's had a great relationship with David Poyle for so many years. He understands what it takes. I think he's going to do a really good job. I think he understands obviously what a coach wants and how do what type of players he wants. He wants to get back to the Predator way. So I think it's going to be interesting, but it did come out of left field a little bit in regards to you hear coaches are like, I want to get on the other side, but he just won a Stanley Cup a couple of years ago. He's with the Islanders, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in management. So it caught me off guard a little bit, but I like the move. I think it's going to be good.
This would mean a lot. The alumni of this team get treated really well. It has to make you guys feel special because they're always bringing you guys back in.
It's awesome. Right? It's awesome. Like, to be honest with you, we're here for, I think we're 15 or 20 of us here this weekend. And for the awards show, like we were in a suite and I don't think we watched very much of the awards show. To be quite honest with you.
There were a lot of lies.
Right. We were all in the hallway and behind it and, just reminiscing and chit chat and talking and catching up. And, we're all over the country now. We all got other things going on that, we don't keep in touch as much as we probably wish we would. So just to be able to kind of reconnect like that, it's been outstanding. So, we've been doing quite a autograph sessions. We had they took care of us. They had a nice alumni luncheon for us. So the organization has been outstanding with the alumni, and we appreciate it because we love to come back. The fans really treat us well too. They really enjoy having the older guys back. So it's great. I'd love to come back and see how big the city continues to grow year after year. It just doesn't stop.
Well, you guys were always so personable, and I think that the fans had to like you because no matter what happened on the ice, you guys were so personable off the ice. It made a real impression.
Well, thank you. Yeah, but it was the right people that were around. Right? They brought in the right people that felt like it was family. Nashville is family to us. So the fans were a part of that. We're a part of the organization.
We were really lucky early on. The early Titans locker rooms were incredible. And then you guys, same way. And I don't know if we got spoiled by it, but it doesn't guarantee that it's always that way.
No. Team to team and personalities in the room change, right? So, there's going to be some expectations, and I'm sure, yeah. And from sport to sport, it's going to change too. So, but as hockey players, you hope you understand that that's, most of the revenue that come in is fan based. So we need them in the stands. I mean, if we want to make the salaries that we do make, but we want them, in the stands too. I mean, growing up as a kid, it's great.
It makes a difference.
It really does. I played in Chicago for 5 years, and for 4 of those years, the American League team down the rink, the Chicago Wolves, I think they outdrew us right on Friday night. So that's not fun. Playing
that's bad sign.
And the Wolves had a horrible arena because I saw a game there one night.
Arena,
yeah,
right?
I saw a game there one night.
So now I go back to Chicago, and they're like, it's Madhouse on Madison. I'm like, there's a couple of years.
What?
This wasn't always like this. So, but they turned it around, and that's great. So, and here, that's the good thing about here. Even when it wasn't full right at the beginning, it was really loud. The fans were all into it, but it filled up, and the fans always support the team here.
Hey, it was really nice of you to spend a few minutes. How awesome!
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks for
this guy had a debut here, unlike any.
And it was always a great interview after a game.
And thank you. I appreciate it.
Easier when you have a hat trick.
100%, right?
Yeah. That game especially, but from the time he was here, it was always a good interview.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
We'll go to the break. Then we'll have the Plaster bet of the day and one last report from Butch Samide, who is somewhere in the arena. Stick around. We're coming back.
Hope we get a skip back.
Exactly.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Welcome back in. Final segment on a Wednesday. Plaster's Better Today presented to you by the good folks at Bart Durham Injury Law Firm. They are, simply put, the best in the business. They are lawyers you can trust. So give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. Let's check and see what George did last night.
George was a winner chicken dinner.
As Frank the Tank from Barstool likes to say, the Braves just simply never lose.
They do not.
All the Braves do is win. They won again today. So George is red hot.
Okay, so we're 6 over 500. I asked Steve Sullivan to stick around because he may want to see what I've got going. Not a bad record for all. Yes, over the last year, that's our record. So I don't even remember who I went with today. So, David, you got to help me. Who did I go with? Hello, Kelly.
What's up, fellas?
You didn't congratulate me on the win? Nothing?
No, because I don't want you to win. We've discussed this.
Oh, well, that's nice. Lovely attitude on your end. Thanks for playing. So we're going to go the Mets tonight. Now, I'm worried. I'm rooting a little bit for the Mets. Both of us covered Buck Showalter back in the 80s. I was a college announcer at Vandy, getting to do a couple of years of minor league baseball. Buck Showalter was a shortstop who could really hit. And Gee, my worry is if they don't pick it up, he's going to get fired and soon.
Steve Cashin's meeting with the team tonight or making some kind of public statement after. I don't have that.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that.
Steve Cohen just met with the media
about
30 minutes ago, and he said Buck Showalter's job is safe for the remainder of this year.
That's the worst thing that could be said.
Absolutely.
And that Billy and Epler.
That's the worst thing that could be said. This is your job safe. I said Cash, I meant Cohen.
But he said they have some decisions to make. If they don't pick it up, that they're going to consider trading Verlander or Scherzer because their contracts are just way out of hand. So
it's almost a $300 million payroll.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yeah, right at it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going Mets tonight at home against Milwaukee. When that's over, I'm going to be 7 over 500 and very proud as I start getting a little traction. Let's bring Kelly back up for just a second. Kelly, I don't appreciate the fact that you're rooting against me. Steve Sullivan is over here, and he's shocked that you're no more of a team player than that.
And I'm shocked that Steve sat down with you and that Steve actually knows you. That's what I'm shocked about.
No, go ahead.
He knows both.
No, go ahead and say it again. Go ahead and say it again. We'll put him back on.
I said, I'm shocked that Steve actually sat down and did an interview with you and acts like he knows you. That's what I'm shocked about.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Kelly Holcomb played in the NFL for 14 years and then came back to Middle Tennessee and has been a royal pain in the butt to all of us.
Definitely so, yes.
Welcome back. I like that he came back. Just to give you heck.
He's my co-host on this thing.
That's awesome.
How was it playing in Nashville? Steve, how was it playing in Nashville? You like it?
I absolutely loved it. I really did. I mean, out of all my stops, I still consider this one the best one. Probably the best team that I was on, but just the chemistry and just growing up, the kids growing up, living here, just the whole package from being a player on the ice and then off the ice. This is outstanding. I absolutely loved it.
Good place. Nashville is a great place. It's a great community. Murfreesboro, I'm only 30 minutes away, so it's a great place to raise your family. So I was sitting here listening. I was wondering how you like Nashville. I figured you liked it.
We were telling the story. To be honest with you, things ran out here. I was injured a lot. They were going in a different direction, which I totally agreed with. I ended up signing in Pittsburgh for 1 year, and then I was chasing 1,000 games, so I wanted to go play one more year, and I had a couple options. We picked Arizona. And I was telling the story last night. I'm like, if I would have picked any other place in the world, we'd be living back here. So we still had our house here until about 5 years ago. Rented it out, thinking we might come back. So if I didn't pick Arizona, we would have been here. So that's how much I love this spot.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah,
definitely so.
Okay, let's do the last thing on the show. Let's check in with Butch Samide somewhere in Bridgestone Arena. Butch, give me a final report.
Yes, George. So right now I'm actually standing inside Bridgestone, but right by the Nissan entrance by the front of the stadium. And they actually knew we were coming. They rolled out a red carpet right in front there. I guess they were a little late, but they must have heard word that George Plaster was coming to have his show here today. So they're pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, nice try. Nice try. So are there a lot of people out there? It's hard to see from the picture you're showing us. Are there a lot of people out there?
There is a packed house out there. I mean, it is, as far as you can see from where I'm standing, there's just a sea of people. They have a setup, kind of like a photo op, I'm assuming for all the players when they start kind of tunneling in here. And so you have people lined up right in front of the arena, as far as I can see. And then, of course, the bars across the street, they are packed as well. There's a lot of people that are already getting ready for the draft.
Butch, I appreciate you doing a good job today with the reports. I know we're going to do a little bit more of this tomorrow because the, I guess, rounds 2 through how much?
2 through 7.
Will take place tomorrow during the day. Butch, thank you for your work.
Of course, guys. I'll make sure to get the gift bags on my way back.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
priority. That's a priority.
That's priority one. You want to keep the job, make the boss happy.
And me too.
Guy, thank you for doing this
Thank
today.
you for asking me.
Absolutely. Loved having you.
Have a good night tonight watching the draft.
Yeah. Kelly, you try to behave until tomorrow.
George, if you guys don't have anything to do, y'all go down to the Hall of Fame and check out my picture, my portrait in there. It's in there.
Oh, my God. He's talking about the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. What is it in there for?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's it in there for? Just go check it out, big dog. Don't be a hater.
I know, and I'm going to.
Mine's in there too, Kelly.
Oh, is it really?
It'll be next year. Yeah. Coach Barnes at UT helped put a kiosk together, and all the members of Tennessee Sports Writers Hall of Fame, if you press a button or with our name on it, our picture and a bio come up.
I'm not anywhere. I'm just.
Hey, guess what? George is not in there, so don't worry. Yeah, we're both in there.
Has no chance anytime soon. Kelly, behave until tomorrow.
See y'all.
Thank you, Kelly. Always good to hear from you.
Big thank you to David Wilson, who did a great job setting all of this up in a short amount of time. Our thanks to Bob Cole from the Predators, who made us feel so welcome. We'll be back out at the Fordyce Center tomorrow. See you then.
Thank you.